Welcome to Seat Time, everybody, the off-road show that brings you all the results, news, and online shenanigans that make being online a good time. We'd like to say thank you to Fly Racing for their support of Seat Time. Please go check them out at flyracing.com. Welcome to Seat Time, everybody. Brian Pierce here, your host for this fine Tuesday evening. Of course, the better-looking-than-me person on the couch is Jordan Bailey. Jordan, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, you happy to be back?
No, I'm not.
Yes, I know.
Wish I was still in Colorado.
It's like, why are we sweating?
Yes. We're back in Texas.
It's not the fun sweat, is it?
No, it's not.
So Seat Time, the online show for the off-road enthusiasts, is brought to you by the fine folks at Fly Racing. We definitely support. Happy for their support. Did you see that they had the release party for their 2016 line?
Yes.
I'm excited. That means we've got to have a video dropping soon. Hopefully a catalog will be coming out pretty soon.
That you're not in.
That, of course. What is it, 4th year in a row now, Dale Spangler? One day. Even Brett Q said that I'm good looking enough to be in there.
He did. I was actually here during that.
Yeah. So, I mean, you think Brett Hughes throws some weight around now these days. We should be able to make this happen, right?
Sorry.
I'm sure after all this is over, Daniel Milner's going to be like, Brian, you should be in the damn Fly Racing catalog. I'll be like, I know. It's
and even if he doesn't, you'll say he did. So
right? So, of course, the fine folks at Kenda Tire USA, you can learn more about them at kendatire.com. Got a chance to ride on the Equilibrium tire in Colorado. We did have a few... we'll just say issues because we had issues. But, of course, being the fine, smart people that we are on the trail, we fixed those issues. A lot of help from people in Crested Butte, which was Almont, which was awesome. But definitely the Equilibrium tire worked out great. We'll be a review on the site. We, of course, will talk about our little Colorado adventure a little bit later in the episode. And then Stillwell Performance. I got a chance to get one of their new shirts. I'm excited about that. Got a chance to ride the shit out of their suspension updates to my 350 XC while we were in Colorado. So again, lots to talk about there. But StillwellPerformance.com, if you have a KTM, if you have 4CS, or if you just go, holy shit, I ride off-road and I want better suspension, check out StillwellPerformance.com. They definitely can help you out. Appreciate everybody for their support. So let's just jump right in. It's been 2 weeks since we've had a show, and I'm excited to talk to some people that are way better on dirt bikes than I am. But they do ride a blue bike like the missus over here, or Missy. Sorry, she's not my missus. But, Mr. Daniel Milner, how is your evening going, kind sir?
Yeah, it's going good, man. It's hot over here, but it's still living the dream.
I like it. Well, I mean, you look buff. You know, I can tell it's hot. You're perspiring a little in there. You might just be nervous because you're on the Seat Time. You know, it's important.
It's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
It's nerve-wracking.
But maybe
Just the lighting. I just made sure I got in the good lighting, with a tank top.
I like it. Is that what makes you look so buff? You make sure that the shadows, you put a little makeup on the arms just to kind of have that go?
He contoured his muscles.
Put a bit of makeup on me and get it happening, so,
Awesome. That's what I'm talking about. Well, dude, congratulations on, your recent win here at the Full Gas Sprint Enduro. That's awesome. Kailub Russell's been on a freaking winning streak, and just recently, a week ago, you beat him. This past weekend, he got beat again by Stuart Baylor at the National Enduro, so congratulations on doing that, man.
Yeah, thanks. It was good, man. It's finally good to get a win. It's something that I've been chasing for pretty much the whole year this year, and all the troubles I've been having, it's definitely a monkey off the back.
Yeah. Well, I think we've got a lot to talk about with you because you are multi-time ISDE. Veteran with Australia. We're going to the ISDE coming up again. Multi-time, I think 3 times in a row, Australian 4-day Enduro winner with your awesome amounts of titles. National Enduro here now. You're going to be racing for AM-Pro. AM-Pro with GNCC. You got the times over here. We do have some health issues kind of discussions that I guess, I just think to kind of clear the air on what really happened with all that kinds of stuff. So, you signed late last year with AM-Pro Yamaha to come over and race for 2015 for the National Enduros and the GNCCs. Was that just a 1-year deal, or how long was that when you guys officially signed that?
We signed for 2 years, so it was kind of a Yamaha thing back home in Australia. I've been with them pretty much my whole career, and I said kind of thing I wanted to change and do something different other than the AORC and stuff like that back home in Australia, and there's something I've always looked up to as the GNCCs, and wanted to come over here and give it a shot.
Now, you've raced some GNCCs. Now, from when you kind of were going around racing some of the GNCCs, how hard do you think it would be to come into racing the GNCCs when they're when something like that type of racing just doesn't exist. Like if
Oh, gosh.
you had just watched it, online or maybe, some of the TV shows and stuff like that, but you're like, I want to race that. Like how difficult do you think it would be showing up and doing it?
Well, I'd say my first season out there was kind of like that. It's nothing you'd imagine. I mean, you think you understand it, and then you get out there and it's difficult. It's hard. It's gnarly. I don't know.
It's not what you would expect.
Yeah, it's not what you would expect. I mean, the pace is faster than you think. It's tougher than you think. It's longer than you think. It's just not what you would expect.
I would agree, even though my hands turned into baby vaginas and I didn't finish my first and only GNCC. One day we will be back. We will finish one, damn it. It'll happen. Shut up, world. But, so Daniel Milner, I would agree with that from Ms. Bailey, but kind of tell us about your thoughts. You came over here, you've probably watched Josh Strang for the past couple of years, win a championship, race in the GNCCs, and then you get a chance to come over here a year ago to try it out to see how it goes. Now you're over here, you're racing GNCCs. What were your expectations? Were they met? Were they just completely blown out of the water? What were you thinking?
Yeah, it was definitely a big eye opener. That's for sure. Like the woods over here is a lot different to the bush back home in Australia. It's a lot more technical, I'd say, and the roots, man, they're bad. There's roots everywhere. Like Australia, we have the odd route every now and then on the track, but over here it's like the whole track. I think more you're riding on more roots than you are dirt. So it's
Yeah.
It's pretty gnarly like that. I found that I was struggling a lot, trying to get used to that. Always sliding out and landing on my face more than I should have been. But looking up to Josh Strang and Glenn Carney, it's definitely a cool thing to be over here racing, and especially seeing Kailub Russell doing so well and all them. My goals were to come over here and kind of try, give it to them, do my best and hopefully finish on the podium, which so far this year in the GNCCs has gone really bad. I think I've finished maybe 2 rounds, so it's been going pretty much as bad as it could go, but we've got 2 rounds, so we're getting there. We're slowly getting bigger. We're getting better and better slowly. So
what's awesome is that's 2 more than I've finished.
I think it takes at least a year to adjust to the GNCC series. I felt the same way. My first full series there, it was like, golly, this sucks. But then once you get in the groove of it, it's like after that first year, I feel like it probably hopefully gets better. But it takes some adjusting to, that's for sure. Hopefully not a full year for you.
Yeah, well, I think that was kind of the plan at the, Randy said to me that this year was definitely going to be a learning year, and it certainly has been so far. And, hopefully I can, get the positives out of this year and look into next year and try my best and see how we go from there.
Yeah, yeah, with the GNCCs, it's been pretty. It has been kind of interesting, but I think as we've talked about, it's a tough beast to crack. One day, hopefully, I'll figure it out. I know you're on the way for sure. Especially once you've come here, you kind of got back into the full gas sprint enduro, which I think is a little bit more of your cup of tea, what you're used to anyway. That format of racing with the national enduros, that's something that I think you're going to be able to adapt to a lot quicker, being more single track ish. Even though the format's still probably a little bit different. But, so what was it? Tell us a little bit about the health stuff, because I know all of a sudden it just, you were struggling. We know that you were struggling. And then all of a sudden press releases come out, you had to go back for health reasons. I talked to Brian Elliott a little bit about it. I don't know if it's but I think you're a diabetic is what I kind of gathered from all that, or something around diabetes. So kind of take us through how hard that was for you to adjust and why you had to go home to get all this stuff figured out.
Yeah, so that was my main problem. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I was diagnosed when I was 12. And back home in Australia, I guess I've grown up with it and kind of learnt the foods and everything back home in Australia to eat. And then coming over here, I'd have to say your diet is definitely different to back home in Australia. It's hard to find real healthy food, and that's kind of what I thrive off, and helps me be a machine kind of thing and get going on the bike. So that was my main problem, was my diabetes. Was just trying to sort everything out, which I've been to heaps of dietitians over here now and tried to sort it all out, which we've got it pretty sorted out now. Especially, I went home for a bit there and got some new machines and stuff to try while I was racing, so I could actually see my blood sugar level while I was racing, so I know if I'm going low or high, or because if you go too low, I could actually pass out. And we don't want that happening while we're going fast on a dirt bike. No. It would be too fun sliding on my face. But so, and then the first 2 rounds, they were my mistakes. The first round, I just went into a hole a bit too fast and got flicked over the bars. And as I was going over the bars, I caught the family jewels on the handlebars, and it pretty much went downhill from there. I pulled up, and then actually we thought it was good for the next round. Went to next round and pretty much did kind of the same thing, just jump in a hole and come up short and kind of framed into my tank on my nuts again, and that put me out of that again.
Oh, man.
No kids anytime soon. Thank you, Honda gas tank or Yamaha gas tank.
Yeah,
wait, was it the gas tank? Was it the goofy I mean, not that it's IMS's fault, but is it the goofy like notch like in the gas tank because of the Yamaha like where it's placed?
Yeah, but I can't use that as an excuse because I shouldn't have been sitting up there in the first place. It was my own fault for going so far up the front. So
a gas cap in the butt every now and again can be a very, very eye-opening experience. Get you back in the game pretty quick.
Yeah, that's it. But it all pretty much went downhill from there with the diabetes. I guess I'd been here for maybe a few months then, and was struggling really bad with the food. So we've got that sorted out now, so hopefully we can get it dialed in and start winning some more races.
Right on. Now, granted, I totally can agree with you on the whole diet thing. It doesn't seem like we've got shit figured out, FDA, all that kinds of stuff. But again, this is the Dirt Bike Show, so we'll kind of stay a little bit more focused on that part. But I do have a question about with the health, trying to find the healthy food. So, like, we've got a couple stores. We got Sprouts, Whole Foods, Central Market, and then there's a couple other like less chains, that you could find. Now, that's in Texas. I feel like we do decent. We're not great when it comes to kind of the healthy food stores, but we're decent. Now, on the East Coast, is that like where you live and where you're kind of centrally located on the East Coast? Did they not have a lot of stores like that, or was that part of your learning process is to learn about those kind of stores or to find a little bit healthier, more natural, less processed foods?
Yeah, I guess it was trying to find the places where they sell all the good stuff. And from everything I've heard, that the southern diets are pretty bad. Like we went to as a car race that one of our mechanics was racing, and there's deep fried Oreos or something like that. So I think anything they can deep fry, they deep fry. So
holy shit, you need to come to Texas, my boy.
Come to the state fair.
Yeah, the state fair here in Texas. There's an actual competition around like every year, like who can come up with the most batshit crazy deep fried something.
Yeah.
Like,
for real.
There's been deep fried Snickers, deep fried cheesecakes, deep fried Oreos,
cookie dough, beer,
deep fried beer,
bacon.
Yeah, it's everything. So yes, it sucks. And I would imagine as a type 1 diabetic, that deep fried anything is not something that you're supposed to be eating. So I'd stay away from it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I have to say, South Carolina. I mean, when we lived out there at Randy's, we didn't find any kind of health food store. We ate like the pizza buffet for lunch every day. We had what's that? Bojangles chicken biscuits for breakfast almost every morning.
That sounds like a pedophile. It's like Bojangles. Here he is in his van again. Bojangles.
Well, everybody was running away from our vans. That's just how we ate out there. So I imagine that was typical.
No tree bark?
No. You're getting like the cookie pizza off the buffet line for dessert.
Yeah, that was. I ain't gonna lie. I've been there before.
I love it.
That place is pretty good.
Pizza Inn, that's what it's called. Yeah.
Pizza Inn. That's like CC's. You go eat there just specifically, so it's like a colonoscopy, but it's actually like it's internal out instead of external
cheap.
in, and then they suck it out.
We're all on budgets. It's cheap, so we can eat for like $4.
It's cheap. It cleans out everything. It's like drinking 8 cups of coffee like that. Cleans the system. So You were able to go home, kind of like get your health bearings back on straight. Now going back and getting that taken care of, you're back in the States, obviously feeling a lot better, doing a lot better on the bike, and feeling confident there. Have you kind of figured out how to keep your diet on track, or do you think you've taken the right steps anyway?
Yeah, for sure. We're now I'm pretty much eating 100% healthy.
No more pizza in.
No more pizza in. No, occasionally a cheeky Bojangles as I'm coming home from a race or something like that. But you deserve that after a race, so you got to do it. But we've definitely got the diet down pat. So starting to feel a lot better in myself and starting to feel really good on the bike now. So hopefully can start kicking some ass.
I like it. I think it's going to be interesting to see when you do kind of get it. As what you were talking about, kind of maybe that year to kind of get used to it. You're like, oh my gosh, this is so much faster, so much different than I thought it was going to be. Once you kind of mentally are able to go into it and go, I know what to expect, I know how to attack. I think it's going to be really cool to see you up there, competing with the likes of Josh Strings, Kailub Russells, and Charlie Mullins when he's back. Hopefully that's sometime soon. All that kinds of stuff. So GNCC, good luck. September is when that's going to kick back off. But you just did, so we did the full gas sprint enduro. I kind of want to know your thoughts on that series. I've seen some of the videos. I've listened to some of the voiceover that you've put down. You sound stoked on it. So are you? And then how does it relate to what you, like the Australian 4-day enduro?
Yeah, it's definitely, I think it's one of the funnest, championships in America. And saying that, we do race that back home in Australia. So, and that was kind of my stronger hand was the sprints. So, the time that Hooper puts into the tracks and all the people there, I think's unreal. And hopefully they keep doing it because I think it'll be definitely an awesome championship, and hopefully it can be named a national championship, and we all get contracted to doing it. We get the semis there, or the semis, as you Americans say it. So that'll be. I definitely enjoy it. The tracks, I guess they're a lot faster than National Enduro, but a little bit faster than GNCC. But they're a bit motocrossy and stuff like that. But they're definitely a lot of fun. That's for sure. I guess everyone that's been to one so far has said how much fun they are and how much time Hooper puts into it. So it's good fun.
Yeah, and I have yet to be to one. Obviously, just watch the highlight videos, talk to awesome riders like yourself about those events that have been. I'm assuming that the kind of like the ones that are a little bit more moto-y, I think that seems to be circumstantial. Like that's probably, like this past when you guys were at that motocross track. So there's a motocross track. There's some developed jumps. There's some developed berms and things like that. And let's use those. You know what I mean? But then sure, there's probably going to be times too where they're going to go out to a field. And then like a big buck, there would just be a field with some woods that you would ride. So, like a works race, I think everybody expects some moto. Mm-hmm. But I think at the full gas sprint enduros, at least again, from what I've seen, I don't know this from Hoop by any means, it just seems like I'm going to take advantage of whatever's there.
Yeah.
To the full extent.
Kind of like a local race here. I mean, if there's a moto track on the...
Right, we ride it.
On the property, yeah, we ride it.
Regardless of how much we suck at jumping, we ride it. That's ridiculous. But so is the 4-day that you guys have now? Obviously, is that format. I mean, pretty spot on to what we've got going on now in the full gas sprint enduro.
I guess it's similar. The 4-day is pretty much exactly like the 6-day, but 2 days short. So you've got the trail time, and then you've got the sprints. So you ride. You pretty much. It's kind of hard to explain, but you ride. You got trail time, which is normally 45 minutes, something like that, and then you ride to a test, and then you do a special test, and then you ride to another test. So normally you have 5 tests during the day, and you're pretty much only doing they're 5 separate tests, and you only do them one each. So it's a lot different. Well, it's not a lot, but yeah, it definitely is different to the sprints because, the sprints we just do one lap on one test and then we go to the other test and then back and just keep going back and forth to each test instead of, riding a new one every time. Mm-hmm. So, which it helps to go out and walk the test and memorize as much as you can. So then you know what's coming up where you can go faster, where you can back off instead of like something like the National Enduros where you just rock up and you just go right and you don't know what's coming up. You don't know what you're going to hit until you hit it and you end up cartwheeling kind of thing. So it's definitely I like that format more. I think it's a lot safer being able to see the track and see what you're coming up against, other than some races you got over here where you just pin it and just hope for the best.
Right.
So yeah, the 4-day. The 4 days definitely a hard race. You're doing 4 days of that racing, so it beats you, and then you got the 6 day on top of that, which I'd even beat you more. So it's our sport is they try to beat you as hard as they can, and when you're old, you can't even move.
Yep. So I get the 4 day that you guys have in Australia follows the FIM 6 day much more in the sense that you guys do have a trail to actually cover between tests, opposed to where here with the Sprint Enduro, obviously it starts here, ends here, and then the next one starts here and ends here, and then you kind of go back, back and forth like you mentioned. So, all right.
What's the time during the Sprint Enduros between, like, you did this test and then you're going to this test and then you're going back to this test? What is the time, like, rest time between that? Because normally you'd, like, ride a trail or something between. Do you go back?
Yeah, for us pros, it's roughly 45 minutes, something around there. It depends, like, if something happens, if someone has an accident or something like that, we allow, Hooper allows a little bit longer to, fix everything up. But other than that, yeah, it's roughly 45 minutes.
Yeah, and is that a good amount of time? Does that and again, haven't had a chance to ride one or anything like that. Like, I may be totally gassed and like I'm laying on the ground for 20 minutes. Like, yeah, I need 25 more minutes for this for sure. Like, or is it too long, too short? How does that kind of time feel for getting into another 7 to 8, 10-minute test?
I think 45 minutes, it works good. You get in, you get to sit down, have a bit of a rest and get some food into you and kind of relax for a little bit and then back into it again. So I think any longer would be too long and any shorter would be like it'd feel like you're doing a 3-hour GNCC. So
right.
I think it's definitely the right time. But I guess as Hoop gets more riders, it might stretch out a little bit longer and he might have to put an extra test in or something like that. But however it's running so far, it's working real good.
That's a good point, yeah, because I guess if he does get more riders, though it'll be more work on his end, more riders could hopefully be more money, so he's more profitable for himself, so then a little bit more effort to put in another test might kind of like help distribute the riders a little bit differently to keep that time down. That's smart. I like that. So we've got 3 down. We've got 2 more to go, right? Because there was originally going to be 4 this year, but then they put in the second one.
Yeah.
For the ISDE qualifier. So ISDE, you going to go this year for Australia?
Yeah, for sure. We'll head back there again, and I'll definitely try better than what I did last year. I had a bit of a problem there last year and crushed my finger. So
let's say it like it is. You hurt your pinky.
Yeah, it was on my pinky, but let's just.
You got 4 more real fingers on that hand.
Yeah, well, I tried to ride that little sore pinky and it was hard. So
I saw what Glenn Kearney finished with in Germany. I think it was Germany.
Yeah.
And you were like, I can only drink tea because my pinky is stuck.
Yeah, once I quit and realised that Kearney finished with that bad knee and I sooked over a little pinky, I realised I was a fair bit of a pussy. But well, I guess I was scared I was going to get infected because I was in some weird country and there was wild dogs and shit running around. I was pretty freaked out.
You're like, my pinky's numb, and you like look down, there's like a dog licking it. You're like, oh God, that's not right.
Yeah, it's definitely a feral country, that's for sure.
Yeah. Love it. Awesome. Love it. So Slovakia. What was 2011, 2012 your first ISDE? Not 12. 2011? 2011. Yeah. Okay, so you haven't been to Slovakia before. At least for the ISDE. I don't know if you've done a World Enduro there before. But what are your expectations of going in this year? How do you feel about it? How do you think Australia looks, as a World Trophy team? Kind of take us through that.
Yeah, from what I've been told, it's going to be pretty similar to the East Coast soil over here. So it's the woods and everything like that. It's going to be going to be pretty much the same from what I've been told. And I think my preparation is going to be maybe a little bit better than the rest of the Australian teams because, well, I'm living over here and riding in, train that it's going to be like. But we definitely have a strong team, and I definitely think we can win it. Hopefully we can put it all together this year. Every other year we seem to have, a bit of a mishap and a bike blow up or someone get injured or something like that. So I definitely hope we can pull it together this year and see how we finish.
I like it. No, it's cool, man. Yeah, we've been trying to figure out if there was any way for us to get over there. Too much time, too much money put in other places this year. So it's unfortunate, but gosh, dude, it would be so awesome to be there in Slovakia because that is kind of, I don't know why, but it just kind of like, you looking back at old film and stuff like that, it just feels like such a raw, natural place, and it's such an ass-kicking place for a dirt bike race, and especially the 6 days. Like, it's going to be some serious shit going down there for you guys. Hopefully. I hope you guys have a hell of a time, but then that you also have fun, because that's what you should be doing.
That's it. So, it'll be mad. We just got to kick your ass, I think.
Damn it. Wait, maybe he thinks she sounds just like her sister.
That's what I was wondering. Who does she think my sister is?
Maybe, yeah, does he think that you're my sister or that you sound like your sister?
I mean, probably Americans.
Never heard my sister.
Yeah. What? Damn it, Daniel. If you're going to steal the show, you just got to run with it, man. It's like, what was that? Oh, it was just his balls. If you're going to take a feather and tickle your balls in the middle of the show, make sure the camera is stationary, bro.
I just wanted to show you guys.
I like it. It's like all of a sudden I see this foot like come up and like stick behind his head. It's like, dude, bro, you're flexible. That's nice. It's funny though. Speaking of feathers and testicles, I actually got a call today.
Where this is going.
Yeah.
Was this for Thursday night show?
From Stuart Baylor Jr. And him and his brother are driving back from the National Enduro, and they're like, you got to ask Milner. You got to ask him how many times he jerks off during the day. And I was just like, is this real? Like, you're doing this. Like, you're he's like, yeah.
And now we're talking about it.
I was like, I'll do it. I was like, okay, let's go there. And then they're like, something about a feather in your balls, and I was just like, I don't know if this is something he's done before, or if this is a thing, or Stuart Baylor is just weird. Maybe he's looking for a teammate on Saturday night. I don't know. But I figured I could bring it up and see if there's any story there that maybe we should talk about, or if it's just funny.
I got misses here, so I think it might have something to do with them two maybe tickling each other's balls.
I like it. That was a perfect comeback. So is your missus an American or is she an Aussie?
No, she's an Australian as well. So
she sounds just as sexy as you do?
Well, if you think so, yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember. I think it might have been Maddie Phillips that I was talking to about this that night, the after party in Germany. Because it was you in Maddie's room that I wound up in that night, and I don't really remember how, but hey, I had pants on when I woke up, so we all know that it wasn't too weird, or at least they took care of it. Yeah. But I wonder if say an American like myself, half normal looking. Not ugly, not handsome, just average run-of-the-mill American.
Just straight average American.
Just like, hey, American, there it is. If I'm in a bar of Australian women, or Australian, I'm in an Australian bar, would women be like, I hate the guy's an American accent or something, whatever,
sounded like Russian.
Chicks, like American chicks are like a guy, like with an Australian accent. I mean, they're just like flicking the bean, like in the bar, like it's just like going to town, but like, I would imagine that's not reciprocal.
Go. You say what you think. I think we sound like Hicks, probably to other people. Go ahead. What do we sound like?
Well, I guess back home in Australia, we always watch American films and always see American stuff. So we're pretty used to your accent. It's kind of like it's normal to us. So I guess you never see much of Australia and you never hear much of us talking. So when we talk, you just kind of fall to your knees. So it's a bit different to how we feel.
I like it. Yeah, it's like it's funny too because we got Russell Crowe and well, I don't. He's not Australian. Is he Australian? But then Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman, the big one. Like he does so many different. Even when he plays an Australian, he doesn't ever really have his real Australian accent. Like if you ever hear him on a talk show, he sounds awesome. But it's like an awesome that you just. He sounds like he's from the wild, like from the outback. Like he's just like it's like this crazy, almost like a hick Aussie accent. But in anything else, he's so put together from all of his training. So I can only imagine that like that's what I have in my head. But like Australian women. Huh?
Daniel, can you do an American accent?
Ooh, can you do an American accent?
Can I? I don't know. Nah, not really.
Give it a
guess
shot.
I could try. All right. Wait, does it got to be like Southern or just American?
Whatever you think we sound like.
Well, I'm hanging around the Southern, so I'll try that. Hey, y'all, come from South Carolina. How y'all doing?
That was so awesome.
Where's your? Do you have a Confederate flag belt buckle on right now?
No, but I'm just gonna hang one out the front in a couple of days. The plan was.
Oh, why is the president coming by? Oh, it seems like everybody else is doing that. They're like, oh look, the president's here. I don't know, but whatever.
You should see since all that's going on, everyone's just driving around here with a flag on the back of their car. It's crazy.
I can only imagine. Can only imagine. Are you staying at the bunkhouse with Randy and them?
No, I made sure I was out of the bunkhouse. That place was too crazy. I'm actually living in the house that Paul had on the farm.
Oh, okay.
So it's a 2-bedroom little shack. So it's pretty cool. We just hang out here and do our stuff.
I like it. Well, cool. Oh, well, man. What else you got for the Aussie?
He did an American accent, and I'm just amazed right now. It was freaking awesome.
It's nice and southern, too.
Yeah, it was. It was awesome.
I like it. Well, so what's next for you? The National Enduro, August 23rd. Where is that one at? That Jack Pine, right?
Yeah, we've actually got the sprint. Not this weekend, the following. That's the sprint in Georgia, I think it is.
Okay.
So the full gas sprint enduro. So I'll go do that again. And then I think it's the Tennessee Knockout or some badass enduro cross kind of style. I think we're doing that. So that's going to be pretty fun. I think I'll bust my bike up a fair bit there, but
just don't bust your balls up there.
Yeah, obviously you might want to wear a cup, buddy. You seem to be putting the jewels on a little bit of a train wreck as of late.
Yeah, I'll definitely hide them things. I'll tuck them up.
Have the missus kiss them goodbye the night before.
Yeah.
We'll be at the TKO. Well, I don't know if we will be at the TKO.
I won't.
If you can make it, you can come. We've got extra room now in the RV because the fam's not coming anymore. So if anybody wants to come with us. But yeah, we'll be up there. I'll be doing the amateur shit on Saturday, trying to make up those 3 minutes that beat me last year. To at least into the afternoon on Saturday. That's all I want. That's all I can handle. I know. But then I'll be there taking pictures and video and stuff like that of you guys on Sunday. So you should try to find a 250 FX, not a 450.
No, I bought a 252 stroke at the start of the year, so I got one of them things to throw around.
That'll be.
Awesome.
Is it the new 250X?
Nah, it's not actually just a standard YZ 250 or YZ.
Have you had a chance to ride that 250X yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't even got to see it yet. But from everything I've heard, it's pretty cool, and I definitely think for an enduro bike, the 18-inch wheel works really good. So that's the best thing they could have done.
Yeah, then that wide ratio transmission is pretty cool too. I just blows my mind. No electric start. Like
yeah.
Obviously they can make it work. They put one on the FX. Like.
That does suck because, so many KTM guys would probably switch because the Yamaha's awesome.
But
they want the button.
Yeah, the button. Honestly, like if you could save $1,000 and still have the button,
yep.
Boy, that would be the quickest way to get a bunch of people over, I think.
Yep.
Hell, that FX almost had me.
It should have had you.
I know.
screwed that up.
I like that 350 though. I'm not gonna lie, 350 is pretty bitchin'. Should have let you ridden it.
Oh, it'd kicked my butt.
Nah, I should have let Cooper ride it with you on the back.
Yes.
That's what we should have done. We all know how that would have gone. Well, cool, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on the show, taking the time to chat with us. Sorry that it's been so long. You've been over to the States quite a few times. Obviously, you've been here this whole year, except for the time when you went back home for a little bit. Should have had you on earlier. Luckily enough, I text Brian Elliott. I was like, I want Daniel Milner on. He was like, we can make it happen. So it did. And I appreciate you coming on the show.
No worries. Good to be on here.
Yeah. So, so Toby Price said that I could come down to Australia and ride there, and he could show me around. Do you think that that's a smart move or a bad idea?
Nah, Toby's got the hookups. It's definitely that's where you want to go. Get him to bring you to the Fink Desert Race because that's somewhere where you want to go. That's just somewhere where you just hold your bike wide open and just hang off the back and hope for the best.
Is it as dangerous
You
as
will
like the
die there.
Huh?
You will die there. I'm pretty sure.
There's a big chance.
I am not Cooper. Like wide open for me is 3/4 throttle.
Okay.
Like we all know this. Like I'll put the right gearing on. I just won't actually hold it to the stop.
Okay. You should go. What do you say?
That I am a vagina. Speaking of, you didn't get any of the new kinetic mesh gear, did you?
No.
I was going to see how it worked cooling off all your parts.
Oh, well, I'm glad we didn't have to talk about that.
All right, Milner, before it turns into the Thursday night show, we'll let you go for the evening. We definitely appreciate you being here, taking the time for us. Good luck with everything, and definitely keep having fun on the dirt bike.
No worries. Thanks, guys, for having me.
Absolutely, man. Take it easy.
See ya.
Gotcha.
So, unfortunately, it seems like our second guest, Mr. Jeremy Shoning, is not going to be able to make it. He had to run to dinner with his boss, and that is just kind of the way things go sometimes with life and in general. Now, we were going to talk about Colorado, and I wanted to talk a way to try to figure out awareness, to try to talk about a lot of the stuff that we learned out there. So there are a lot of organizations called Stay the Trail, COVCO, Trail Preservation Alliance out there to try to bring more awareness and bring funding and of I don't know the exact, but lawyers to the ball game because of the fact that there are so many ways that people are trying to shut down trails.
Yep.
And every little thing can be used against. And I say us, but in reality, there's people out there that sometimes they want to shut down trails so that no one can use them. Not just motorized vehicles, not just mountain bikers, not just horses, not just hikers, but everybody.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there are levels of that, right? I mean, there are hikers that hate dirt bikers. There's dirt bikers that hate hikers. All over the whole spectrum. Like it's crazy. So one of the things that I wanted to try to talk to Jeremy about though was trying to figure out what are the best ways that we as dirt bikers that we went to Colorado, we did seat time adventures, we had massive amounts of fun out there. We want to do that again, but at the same time, we also want to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward to help these organizations on how to kind of continue to either A, keep the trails open that are open, or B, even get more trails open. That I think that's a whole side that people don't think about. I know that Cooper, we were talking with Coop's dad a lot, and he was telling us about this trail last year was open, this trail last year was open, this trail last year was open, and I was like, well, why are they being closed? And a big thing is there's a lack of real education on why some trails are closing. Is it they're overridden and they're letting them recoup? Well, do we know when they're going to be open?
Right.
Again, and there's a lot of times, no, we don't know that there's not a definitive date on a trail being reopened. And so that kind of goes, okay, so they're saying this trail is rehabbing.
Yeah.
But is that really just now? That's what they say to make sure that there's less of a riot.
Right. Don't make people mad.
Right. And so, but at the same time, like, how do we go, okay, cool, you guys have closed this trail for rehab, totally get it, 5 years, whatever, sure, It's going to take a long time to kind of get there to where that trail's rehabbed and we can go back in and maybe either make new trail in that section or start to reopen some of those pieces. But then the other side of that is, how do you start to make new trail out there?
Right.
I granted, ridden the Colorado 500, ridden out there with a couple of my dad's friends, and then this time. So 3 times. So definitely not a veteran of Colorado. Still a rookie in a lot of people's minds. But how do we wind up trying to figure out how to start creating new trails out there that other people can use? Is that just taboo? does that happen?
Right.
And that's one of the big things that I kind of want to start to look into and to start to figure out. So we just did Seat Time Adventures this past week. Got a chance to meet a lot of awesome people. I would say that every person we ran across in Crested Butte, in Almont, in Tin Cup, in Pitkin, and all those little tiny towns were super awesome.
Yeah, they were.
They were in Crested Butte South. Stevens UTV broke down. They brought it to Crested Butte South. They spent hours hanging out there at the grocery store, at the little local market. The guys were not only giving them tools to help fix their UTV, but they were giving them as well materials, like radiator fluid, advice, time, sweat, and then beers, and then food. They were super, super generous with that. And then when I had the rear flat in Almont, with the same kind of thing, we had guys walk
complete
up.
Stranger.
Yeah, a stranger sees that I have a flat tire. I know I have a flat tire. We were just eating, and I'm gonna worry about it after we eat lunch. And he goes to his truck, gets a can of Fix-A-Flat, and comes back and just says, "Hey, you guys, the guys on the motorcycles? Yep. Oh, I saw you guys have a flat. Here's a can of Fix-A-Flat." Just didn't ask, didn't need to, and just gave us this awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I go, okay, you hear about all this negativity, or you hear that there can be all this negativity in Colorado and with dirt bikers riding on trails and stuff, obviously, and I'm talking legal trails. I'm not talking about outlaw riding, anything like that. Now, if somebody's outlaw riding, sure, I get that. That's why there's some negativity towards that. But it seems like with all the people that we ran across that were so awesome to us.
Yeah, and excited to see us.
Right, excited that we're there spending money in their town and all that kinds of stuff. Where does all this negativity come across that people talk about? And that's some of the things I want to start looking into. So again, that's kind of the discussion I was hoping to have. If anybody listening has information, I would love it if you guys reached out to kind of, to come to us to that. One of the things that my friend Ian Reed and I were talking about is that with Seat Time Adventures, if we were to go back to Colorado every year, and maybe change it up, different place in Colorado for 4 days. Maybe there's a fifth day. It's a voluntary work day. That it's unofficially officially part of Seat Time Adventures. Where on this fifth day, we're not going to ride. We're going to organize with either Coveco, Stay the Trail, to TPA, like one of those. Try to get a large work day together, and so that everybody that's with Seat Time Adventures can get together with all the locals. The people that do ride there all the time, that put forth all the work and all the effort, and help them do whatever needs to be done on the trail. If it's carry a lot of the cinder blocks up that we saw, or however that needs to go.
Whoever does that job, props to them.
Yeah, because but that kind of stuff does have to get done.
Yeah.
It does get done. People do it.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine even if it's a quarter mile of trail that gets a little bit of nurture, that hopefully that is something we can help do. And it's one of those deals where I'm like, well, if we're up there documenting Seat Time Adventures, we would obviously document this part of it. So hopefully it's a way for us to maybe make even more awareness for what riders can do for the trails that they ride on by putting that into our videos and stuff. I don't know. What would you think about something like that?
That'd be cool, I think. I think they would hopefully appreciate us more.
Yeah.
And want to have us back.
So what's your tool of choice?
My tool?
Tool of choice.
For on the trail?
Pickaxe, like a shovel kind of person.
No.
She's like, I hold cameras really well.
I could video. No, I'll take the hatchet. I need to do some more push-ups. Don't squeeze my arm. People are going to see how noodly they are.
The biggest tool we can handle, and you can just sit there and do curls with it.
I'll just work out the whole time. Doing good, guys. Doing good.
Yeah.
I'll bring y'all water.
So
No, I'd get down there and help. I think that'd be awesome.
it'd be different, because I know that there's a lot of people that would appreciate to go ride in Colorado, and not that again, still very new, still very rookie to Colorado, but I know that it seems like there's a lot of discussions around that. So I kind of want to start to dig into that, figure out really what's kind of going on with a lot of these organizations, and how we at Seat Time could either bring more awareness to it. We could start to help out, start to go up there and do some of that work that needs to be done on some of these trails, to try to, I guess,
keep the trails open. And
some of the negativity.
Yeah, I hate to see trails keep closing, and
nothing new opening.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
So Seat Time Adventures was awesome. So some of the things that we got a chance to test and play around with. So Flex Bar came out with a new bitch bar for their razors. So we had our chase crew up there, Stephen Rice and his family, and they put one of these new Flex Bars into their razor. So that way, while you're riding around in this razor, if you're holding onto the bitch bar or the oh shit bar the whole time, it's got a little bit of give to it. A little bit of flex, a little bit of suspension in there. So we're gonna get a nice little review on that from Stephen and his brother. So that'll be cool to read about. What were you were on your bike? Did you have anything fun to play around with?
I don't think so.
You had a new jacket?
I had, my new fly jacket, my patrol jacket, which was freaking sweet. I wore that thing every single day for a week. It smelled a little bit when we got home, but it was awesome. I took the sleeves off and wore a vest most of the time, unless we were in the nice rain, cold, and then the sleeves went on, and vents everywhere. So when it got like 80 degrees, you're like opening vents. You're showing me how to do all my vents and stuff. Could store all sorts of stuff. It was awesome.
Store phones for days without knowing.
Oh, real funny, Cooper.
Oh, is that where her phone was?
You didn't hear? Oh. So I guess we'll just tell the story so nobody's confused. They had awesome pocket situations where you could store stuff and not even know you're storing it, apparently. So I was taking my phone with me everywhere because there's no service where we're camping, but you could get like a little bit of kind of service in these little towns. We stopped to eat lunch, right? So you're like getting on Instagram, keeping up with your social media. Keeping the followers happy. Hashtag Seat Time Adventures. And I thought I left my phone. It had died while I was sitting there social mediaing. And so I thought I left it in Pitkin. And so I get back to camp, and I'm like, oh, man, where's my phone? I can't find it. And Cooper's like, check all your pockets. I'm like, I did. It's gone. 3 days later, we're cleaning up our tent and stuff, like reorganizing it. And Cooper's like, I'm checking your freaking jacket again. I've worn it every day since then, all day. And he's like, what's this? Unzips the pocket. There's my phone. It's been in there for 3 days.
Was
with
it
me
like
riding
side,
with it.
Side pocket?
No, it was just so I had been keeping it on the left side, like up here by the chest.
Uh-huh.
And I had put it in the right side. And I was like, well, yeah, my jacket did feel kind of heavy. Every time I'd like pick it up, I'm like, I don't remember it being this heavy before with nothing in it. But it had my phone in it the whole time. So good news, I didn't have to buy a new phone. Bad news, I now look like a total blonde because I rode with it on me.
Yep.
Oh.
Somebody in the chat room was saying that you look a little bit different. That's why they're asking who's the girl on the couch. You look like your sister, kind of. And I said, well, it's because of her hair's down. And then you say all that. So I'm like, her very blonde hair's down.
Yeah, it's showing this week, apparently.
That's pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah, it was embarrassing. Cooper has literally told everybody that he comes across.
He should.
It's like, yeah, did you hear about Jordan who lost her phone for 2 days and her jacket the whole time that she wore every single day?
Yeah, you're like, I mean, and I hate to say this, but like, wouldn't you feel it like on your chest?
No, because it kind of got lost in there. The pockets can hold a lot of stuff.
Fly Racing Patrol Jacket. They're awesome.
It really is awesome.
They help you lose your phone.
Yeah. Help you not lose your phone, thankfully. Because I thought I was like, it fell off on the trail. But it didn't, because then my zipper was still zipped. So I was like, it didn't fall out. There's no holes in the pockets. It was just on the other side.
I love it. I absolutely love it. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I got a chance to try out a couple different things actually. So Fastway came out with their new dampened pegs. Mm-hmm. Well, we've talked about this. And I like to be as honest and as fair as possible. The pegs worked great, but the first 3 days of me riding, fourth day, I noticed I was having a little bit of trouble. Like when I'd hit some stuff, I felt like there were weird times where my feet would kind of slide off the edges when they really shouldn't be. And so I kind of looked at the pegs a little bit, and I would say that the knurls on the pegs actually had worn more than I would have expected them to. Now, granted, we were riding a lot. And in not great conditions, with the water, the mud,
yeah.
the dirt that gets piled in there, it helps wear stuff down sooner. So there's always that. But at the same time, even if you were to say we did 100 miles a day, which we were just under most of the time, 300 miles, give or take that. So, but I know, that top plate might be easily replaceable.
Right.
It's 3 bolts, pull it off, put on another one, and if it's $30, that's not too bad. That's cool. I would like it if that top plate's removable, and you could get some of the threaded guys to go in there. So you could kind of get some of the really pokey ones. And at the same time, too, I will definitely say that my Garnets are 3 years old. So the soles are probably worn to piss out. Yeah. So there's a good chance, too, that we got a little bit...
combination.
Yeah, we got a little bit of wear on the pegs. We got a little bit of, a shit ton of wear on the boots. Packed full of mud. So... But I just wanted to be honest in that. But so the dampening side of things, I do have a really bad right ankle. I'm actually having surgery next month on it again, unfortunately. So I really didn't have any ankle problems. We were riding some nasty, tough shit.
Yeah.
So I would totally attribute my ankle holding up a lot better than normal to those pegs. Not because of the fact that it's suspension, but it's because it has just that little bit of dampening. There's just that
little bit makes such a difference. Even the flex bars. Me and Cooper were talking on the way up here. Actually, that the outsides of our hands are like stone bruised, and it's because we haven't had our flex bars on, and when we ran flex bars, the outside of our hands weren't stone bruised like that. And it's just that bit of dampening really does help.
And I love them. And I've been running the flex bars for a long time too now, and love them. So of course, when they came out with those pegs, had to try them out. So. If you're doing longer ride, I mean, somebody that's out there racing a GNCC for 2 or 3 hours, or maybe you're doing a national enduro, so you're riding, almost 6 hours out there on the trail, I would look into stuff like this. I would think guys at Moto, maybe it doesn't make as big a difference.
Yeah.
Again, because it's not really suspension, it's more of that dampening for, I think, the longer term rides. We're going to be out there for a lot longer. But I'm definitely going to keep them on the bike, and I'm going to talk to them and see if they do replacement places for the tops, or if they possibly have, some updates in for the near future about being able to get top plates that have replaceable pins.
Yeah. And maybe they'll talk to Garnet for you and get you some new boots.
Yeah. Probably not, but hey, it'd be awesome to think if they did, right? And then the Kenda Equilibrium tire. So really, really, really excited. First time I got a chance to ride this, and I wanted to give it a good test. I wish I would have had more time to be able to do back-to-back tests, same trail kind of situation with different tires. We just don't have that. We don't have the time. We don't have the money. We don't have the resources to do that kind of stuff. So what I did, though, is I ran 12 PSI on day one. And I did that specifically because in a rocky situation with a regular tire, if I was running a tube, I wouldn't run less than 13 because I didn't want a flat. I wanted a flat less than I wanted, more than I wanted good traction. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, with this tire, with the tubeless Gen 2 setup, I'm going to run 12 on day one. And I'll be honest, I was like, okay, I could kind of tell in some situations that it's a sticky rubber, but it doesn't, I'm not like, holy fuck, this is the holy grail of real tires. I just wasn't. Again, being very honest. And then day two, I ran 8 PSI. Mm-hmm. And 8 PSI was like a world of difference. The tire stuck a lot better. It gripped a lot better. I did not feel like I was bouncing around nearly as much. That is the day that I did get that weird cut through the knob. But, and this is when I had the flat tire. And yes, I was running the tubeless system, the Gen 2 setup with the Equilibrium tire, the 18-inch. So while we were there at lunch, we're trying to put Fix-A-Flat in it. And through that's when we figure out, like, whoa, this is like a slice. This is a good cut here in this tube or this tire. So what we do is we get a tire plug kit. Steven's dad had one for their razors. And so they were nice enough to give me a couple of those plugs. So we put one in, we clean it out, put one plug in, and it doesn't seal. We're like, holy shit. But what I realized is it not sealing, there's actually like another little hole next to it. I mean, like right next to it. So I clean that out, and while I'm cleaning it out, it becomes one hole. I know, it's like, woo, science! But then I get that second plug and put it in, and it, boom, like it was just enough. Like, put it in, twist it, pull it out quick, and bam! That's Thursday night. But it was awesome.
I knew that was going to get dirty.
That, I mean, you burn it, cut the ends, and boom, you got yourself a plug kit. And I was really worried. Like, I was like, man, these are totally going to come out because we were riding on some rough, nasty shit. Yeah. And they didn't. They're still in that damn hole. In that damn tire. Plugging up that damn hole.
No, for real, though.
They are.
Yeah.
That's not a lie.
What do you want me to say?
It's almost kind of fun when I just kind of like expect her to like take over.
I don't know what to say. Yep. He's telling the truth.
I like it.
No, awesome. But it worked well. Held up the rest of the time.
Yeah. I really, really enjoy that tire. I've got one of their prototype sticky tires, the knobbies. Now, I think because I know that there's more dirt, I didn't get the experience where people go, people ran the trials tires all the time, and they find that they work all over the place. I can't agree with that. I did have issues where I felt like I wanted it to have a little bit more of an aggressive side knob, and in the more meatier dirt sections, it worked. It worked like a tire. Like it was the rocks is where you really notice.
Yeah, that it's awesome.
Yeah, especially when they're wet and slick and nasty.
Which they were most of the time.
Yeah, true story. So I've kind of got some research and brain thoughts to do because I'm trying to remember how much dirt there was at the TKO in the sections that we rode versus the rocks. And it's kind of one of those things in suspension. Do you say, I'm going to not have a lot of compressions because in the rocks I want it to work really good, but if I have to jump, I know that there's a chance I'm going to bottom, or vice versa. You're going to say, I'd rather it be a little bit stiffer because on the jumps I'd rather it not bottom, and in the rocks I'll have a little bit tougher.
Right.
That's kind of almost where I'm at with this tire thing, because if I run that equilibrium in some of the dirt sections, it may not track as well, especially if it's a kind of a leaned over more turn because of a lack of a side knob. But if I go to the tacky kind of the sticky knobby tire, will it grip the rocks as good as that equilibrium, which I know it will.
Right. You're in a pickle.
But I wouldn't be in this predicament if it weren't for Kenda Tire. And I'm glad that they are giving us a chance to test out their products and to be honest about them. That's what they want us to do. It's only going to help them make better. If anybody out there is wondering if you should try out an equilibrium tire, do you have a lot of rocks? Yes, you should definitely try out one of their equilibrium tires. The tubeless setup worked great. Had no issues getting it set up. I found that 8 PSI was awesome. In the front tire, I was running about 8 PSI as well, and I was running the Millville 2, so nothing special about that. Definitely one of the better, the Washougal and the Millvilles are the two better Kenda front tires that you can get to run for kind of like off-road, more, dirt terrain.
Dirt terrain. I think that's what everybody probably rides their dirt bikes on.
Yeah, the dirt terrain that you would ride your motorcycle in, man. Yeah.
We just landed in California.
Hey, buddy. Word, bro. Word. To the desert. So, yes. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what? Am I in trouble?
No, I'm just getting text messages. It's like, you're a little creepy and nerve-wracking when you stop and stare live on camera.
Thank you, James.
Is it like this?
He is creepy.
Oh, when I do like this?
Yeah. It's freaky. Stop.
So...
back on track.
So here's what's going to happen with Seat Time Adventures. I'm sure if you guys were paying attention to Instagram or any of the feeds out there, we were trying to post as much as we could, but it was just tough. We were riding, we were having a good time.
And there's little service.
Yeah, not a great service. But so we're going to try to on a weekly basis get some form of footage out for you guys, even if it's about a minute. Hopefully it's kind of a nice little highlight reel of some of the days that are out there while we work on our bigger edit as well. We have a lot of footage. We've got real lives going on. It's unfortunate that we're not being paid for this, so we can't just like knock it out in a week and make it happen. I mean, we could, but then there's sleep, there's family, there's work. Oh, then there's sleep, then there's the work, and it goes on. So that's what we're going to try to do. So definitely pay attention. What you want to do for the quickest way to know when we are uploading and adding information is go to YouTube and subscribe. Now, after you subscribe, there are settings where you can be notified by email. That's the best way to be known, Johnny on the spot, when we upload and make something public. Because if you are just subscribed to us and not email notified, then it only tells you when you go to YouTube. But if you're kind of wanting to know a little bit better, more on the up to the date, up to the second that we make something public, you want to make sure that you have email notifications set up to be notified for when Seat Time
post the awesomeness.
Post the stuffs. So definitely be looking forward to that. I'm going to be skydiving for the first time this Sunday, so I'm going to bring the GoPros, and we're going to do a little video for that, so that'll be fun. Liam's birthday, he's turning 3. I turned 36 on Thursday. Leo's birthday party is this Saturday, but he actually doesn't turn 3 until August 10th. It's just Caitlin's going to be out of town, so we're having a birthday for that. Then I'm going to go ride Greenville on the 9th. If anybody local wants to go ride Greenville on the 9th. And then we've got our August 8th, actually, in Dallas at Community Brewery. We're going to be doing a proper pint show there if you guys want to come down for that. Then we're going to be at TKO. Then I'm going back to Colorado for a bachelor party, which is fucked up because it's like, sure, I want to go back to Colorado, but I don't want to spend $300 on a plane ticket and then $100 on lodging and then all this other stuff for, I mean, it's like, it's a good friend of mine. I'm going to go support it as a bachelor party. It's not, I'm not, but you got to do it. There it is. So.
There it is. So you don't even take a dirt bike.
And then surgery.
That's
and
fun.
then ankle surgery. So.
And the TKO in there somewhere.
But TKO, then the bachelor party, then surgery.
And video footage somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
You got to fit in.
Yep.
Fun stuff.
So.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the film content scrollerer for Steven, and he's gonna be
You're
the
just gonna
main
feed it
editor.
All I know is if you haven't checked out our sick tandem video, that thing, I don't know what to say about that.
I think that's gonna be. So there's that video we know was on Helmet Cam, and then I had the external video of it, and then Patch apparently has like a really wicked video from Timberline. So I think that's what I'll put together for Friday.
Sweet.
I'll get your video and then like kind of like mirrored with mine. So kind of like get the helmet view and then the external view.
I wonder like what we're saying during this. I don't know if we're just like silent. I don't remember.
I doubt it.
Probably not. all I know is people probably can barely see, you could barely see it at the end of that clip of when we wad. Yeah. Gnarly. And as soon as we get up off the ground, Cooper looks at me and goes, "Well, you're supposed to bail." And I was like, at what point?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to like jump off and just roll.
As we are quarter away through our 180, you should be halfway off the bike.
What the heck?
That's a lot of math, brother. That's a lot of math.
I was like, okay, next time.
So we got a lot coming out.
Yeah, it'll be
fun.
sweet.
I hope
awesome.
everybody is excited as we are, and then obviously what we're gonna do. So once we start getting that footage out, people go to adventures.seatime.co, sign up for the newsletter if you're interested to learn more information. As that comes out, we'll start talking about 2016. And so probably during September and October, we'll start making those decisions, start planning the trip, and then that'll probably come out a little bit closer to November, December, what
Christmas presents.
What that's going to look like. And then we'll start probably January, start accepting applications to start picking riders to come and go on Seat Time Adventures 2016 2.0. Dun,
dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, I know.
And
there could be a precursor of a Seat Time 1.5.
Are we talking
in January?
Oh.
There could be.
What's that going to be?
A Seat Time Adventures 1.5.
What
that
about
could be
Crawfordsville?
Preview to Seat Time Adventures 2.5.
2.5?
Yeah. So.
Interesting.
Fingers crossed. I've already got weird shit in the works, folks. That's the way that this brain works. So thank you for paying attention to Seat Time. We really appreciate you. Big thanks to Daniel Milner for being on the show. It's just like Thad Duvall. The first time it happens, I'm like, why hasn't this happened sooner? You're awesome. And you know they're awesome, and you know you want to talk to them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you hear that American accent? I'm going to go back and replay that one again.
That's all over. That's going to be the new Seat Time. That's what we should have done, is had him do like a Seat Time slogan in that accent so we could use it as a Seat Time trailer.
That'd have been cool.
Awesome. So Seat Time, you can find everything about us at seattime.co. That's the website. That's where we archive everything, and we're going to post all of our fun videos. Of course, adventures.seattime.co is where we talk about everything that goes on with Seat Time Adventures. So we are on Facebook, facebook.com/SeatTime. Of course, we are on Twitter. It is at @SeatTime_CO. On Instagram, it's just regular old @SeatTime. Nothing fancy. And then, we're all over the place. So YouTube, you can find us. It's the channels at Seat Time. I am at Woody B. Pierced everywhere, and you're JMill98.
Yep.
JMill98 everywhere. So please give us a follow. We do have personal lives. They're just as funny, I swear.
Sometimes.
Yeah. If you could smell how bad they are.
I heard a story of his kid eating an iguana. So, yeah, our personal lives are pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it?
It was a gecko.
A gecko, whatever.
Yeah. Whoa, yeah, all of a sudden it's like... You know that we just did, right?
I hope nobody got Photoshop.
Oh, yeah, nobody get any ideas in Photoshop that. Jerks. Awesome. So thank you very much for paying attention. Thank you for coming on the show again.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Episode 174 of Seat Time. Thank you again to Fly Racing, Kenda Tires, and of course, Stillwell Performance.
Blah, blah, blah.
Stillwell
There you go.
Performance for their support of Seat Time. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Peace.